2. Check. All right. Can you hear each other? Yes. Testing. Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome to ANU North Oval for Bar TV's presentation of the Griffin Legal John I. Dent Cup. My name is Kieran Deck and I have a very special guest today. Bill Stefanovic is with me. Apologies if I pronounce your name wrong.
Oh, Kieran's pretty close, Stefaniak, but that's
Stefaniak, thank you. We're on it now. We're in the action. We're moments away from this blockbuster clash, and it's a blockbuster, let me tell you, Bill, because if you like maths, you'll like this next little segment. We have 4 versus 5 on the table.
That's right.
East are just holding on, and just underneath them is the home side today, Uni-Norths ours. And if they win today, they're in for a chance at finding themselves in 3rd place on the ladder.
That's really good. Look, it's been a good day so far, Kieran. We've had Uni winning Colts and also, of course, 2nd grade then, and good close matches too. A lot of form showed by both sides there. You're right. I mean, East have had a wonderful season this year. They've got a new coach. They've got a lot of spirit there. They've won a number of games. They've knocked over some of the top sides in Canberra rugby. And in 1st grade, as you say, they are sitting in 4th place, equal with Queanbeyan on 37 points and Uni on 36 points. So whoever wins this, I don't know what Queanbeyan's doing today, but it's possible whoever wins this might end up 3rd.
Well, it's lucky, Bill. We've got each other's backs. I know what Queanbeyan's doing today. They've headed out to Nichols to play in that mud pit that can become a mud pit on a rainy day like today. They're taking on Gungahlin, and if Gungahlin do upset Queanbeyan, then Uni-Norths are in for a chance of finding themselves in 3rd position.
Well, whoever wins today probably will go to 3rd position then. Yes. And Gungahlin done pretty well this year, and they've certainly knocked over some good sides. Absolutely.
They are one of the teams that could potentially knock on the finals later on. I think it's fairly close, but the narrative over the last few weeks that we've seen has been a form decline from the East. They've lost a couple of matches in a row. And with their run to the finals, today's match really is important. If they don't get a victory today, they've got Queanbeyan and Tuggeranong across the next 3 weeks, and it's tough to get off that slippery slope.
It is. I saw them against, because they played Griffith Oval, and I'm only a few blocks away from that now, having moved from Belconnen, and I went and saw them play Wests, and they played some enterprising football, but Wests had a very good forwards game and actually won that one. And yes, it is crunch time for East. They've had a great season so far. It's just been wonderful to see how the club's picked up this year under Tim Cornford, and not that Johnny Ross did a bad job. He saw them through some horrible years and kept the club going, so full marks to John. I've played quite a bit of rugby with John, with and against him actually over a number of years, but he was a great stalwart there and really helped immensely. But Tim Cornford's got him going well.
Yeah, he brings a new energy, doesn't he?
He does, and there's some new players there. I'm particularly impressed. I've seen a few of their games with, I think it's George Morceau. He's from Papua New Guinea.
Yep.
Really quick little bloke. He played with Royals last year, and he's certainly got a lot of speed, and you can't beat someone who's got a reasonably good rugby brain with a bit of speed. So
that's right.
So he's impressive, and of course Uni's had some very close losses this year too, so they're right up there. And I think if they can kick on today, Uni-Norths kick on today, they could be quite a force come finals time.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned before that East had actually knocked off a couple of the top runners. They did defeat Royals back in round 4, 25 points to 23. However, they lost to Royals last weekend, 33-7. So a form shift there. On the other side of the park, Uni-Norths, they've had quite an impressive run against the two top runners, Vikings and Royals, this year. They had a 17-all draw with Vikings in round 3. In round 6, they lost to Royals, but by only 2 points.
I saw that game, and that was a very good game of football. That actually should have been a draw. That would have been a fair result. It was very well played by both sides, and I thought a draw would have been a good result there, but it was a very close loss.
That's it, out at Phillip Oval, and in round 11, the most recent clash the Uni-Norths have had with the top runners. They actually defeated the Vikings in what was a freezing day out there at Viking Park. The wind was sweeping across. Unfortunately, a fairly serious injury to a Vikings player, which forced them to the second ground for the second half. After scoring most of their tries in the first half, Uni-Norths, they held on for a 31-28 victory, and today they are first out onto the park in their Heritage Round jerseys, Bill. They're looking great.
They are indeed. I can remember playing against Norths in those colours many, many decades ago, and next week, of course, the old ANU jersey will come out when Uni-Norths play Royals. So both sides coming out onto the field now.
And here's East in their Heritage Round jersey, which has a heavy Polynesian influence. They're both looking great out there today. A bit of Easties St George Illawarra Dragons Red V action out there too.
But that's impressive. I don't think I've ever seen that jersey before. That must be a very old one. When we get former president of East and East Under-18 coach and club steward of many decades, Gordon Scott, to come and have a word in about 10 minutes, maybe he can explain that jersey. Kieran, I haven't seen it. Do you know anything about it?
No, look, it's the only word that we have is that it is their Heritage Round jersey. We're very lucky today to have the voice of the referee in our ears, and you should be able to hear them at home as well. And early on, a regather from East. They're going to need a control possession today, because in attack, this Uni-North side can match it with the best of them. East left a lot wanting a few weeks ago against West in terms of their defence. So today they want to hold on to the ball as much as they possibly can. Claps there from Jacob Abel, the number 9 and skipper for East. Pretty happy with the mistake at the breakdown early on.
Yes, the Abel brothers, I think there's 3 or 4 of them. They came over from Royal several years ago, and they've been a very important backbone of East's for a little while, I understand. Line out now, about 15 metres out in the Uni-Norths half. In fact, 15 metres out from the try line. That's knocked back towards Uni-Norths.
Very good hand in there. Samuel Samuelu's first line out, not going the way he wanted it to, and it's in the hands of Callum Richardson there.
Well, he's quite a good winger. I've seen him play a few games this year, and he impresses me. He's a big, sort of tall winger and fair bit of speed, and he's got some pretty significant skills. So Uni-Norths clear. The Owls have cleared the ball. They're about 30 metres out from their own try line now.
Let me tell you what, last time that these two sides met, Bill, was in round 10, and East had 4 players in the team of the week, which has been a great addition to the John O'Dent Cup this year. Owls had 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. Very interestingly, the 4 that made it for East were the forwards. The 4 that made it for the Uni-Norths Owls were backs. So this week we should see
It's a bit of a worry.
a contest between two opposing attacking sides if that form is anything to go by.
Well, Dave Bennett just got the ball from the back of a line out there, and unfortunately when he went to ground he was penalised for something, and Easts have kicked the ball out, and they had the throw in about 20 metres out from the Owls line.
It's a chilly day, isn't it, Bill?
Well, it's freezing, mate. I was going to play veterans at Hall against the Hall vets, and my wife said, "You're mad, it's too cold," and I thought I'd come here early instead. So I'm rather glad I made that choice, actually. It's
Good
rather
decision.
them out there than me, it's freezing.
Especially with that wind that came through before it's died. Now we even saw a little bit of sun before as East find themselves in attack again. It's going to dent their confidence if they turn it over now. They want to make the most of this
that could have been
opportunity.
forward.
Found the winger. It did go nice and flat, didn't it? It's not the winger. Out there on the side is the first try scorer of the day, and I believe that was Langi Longolotonga, who found himself in possession right there on the far wing. So try time to Easts.
Possibly a forward pass, but as you say, Kieran, it may well have been flat, and at any rate, Easts have scored far out. Let's see how they go with the kick. Easts are running uphill in the, uphill in the first half. The wind, I don't know if the wind's too much of a factor, having played at this ground quite a few times. I always prefer to do the hard things first, and I think running uphill in the first half, unless the wind is actually blowing against them, probably favours Easts, but let's see. It's a pretty flat ground. It doesn't matter too much here.
Yeah, I think the wind may become a factor considering how heavy it was before, but it's not really blowing at the moment. So let's hope for a close match based on no wind and a lot of attacking play like we just saw as George Morso lines up his first attempt of the day. Big swing of the boot. It's looking good. Not
It
quite.
just goes to the left of the left-hand upright. And it's Easts 5, Uni-Norths 0.
Bill, let me ask you before we get too far into this match. First points on the board for East early on. Is it fair to say that Owls come into this game favourites?
I think that'd be hard to say because both clubs and both teams have had some very good games, and there's only a point separating them. I'd be reluctant to say ours are favourites. I think East have had some very good early season form. This is a pretty even competition. I mean, I have real trouble picking at this stage who'd be likely to win the first grade. I think Tuggeranong obviously has to be a show, but virtually any team on its day could knock over any of the other sides. So I don't know if there's any favourites here. I think both clubs are very, very equal. And
absolutely. As that one is cleaned up over the top of East line, Lynch would have been pretty happy to have that one again as Ben Love takes it up now for Uni-Norths. He's been a form player for this side this year, and they're very lucky to have Lockie Crichton back in. Yes. And Callum Richardson puts it on the boot. He's in the chase. They've got a couple coming back across.
It's a try.
Richardson's going to equal the scores for Uni-Norths Owls. Wasn't that special, Bill?
Mate, that was that was a great kick through by Callum. It was about 10 metres in. For some reason, one of the East players going back could have probably knocked it out, but seemed to miss his opportunity. Callum came straight up the middle, dived on the ball over the try line. Try Owls.
It was Will Callan who came across in the fullback jersey, and he just overran it by a few metres, didn't he? And it was Richardson who was able to clean it up. So just goes to show, Bill, never give up.
Never give up. Well, here we go. Sam Irwin. Sam's the normal, regular Owls kicker. It's a fairly difficult kick. It's about 10 minutes, it's about 5 minutes in from the sideline.
Sam, of course, a wonderful operations manager at Brumbies HQ in his first year this year, looking after the home games for Brumbies.
Well, that's good. He's been with the Brumbies now for quite a few years, hasn't he?
He used to look after this local competition, and he took the step up into Bill Swain's position this year, as Bill goes into the team manager of the Brumbies. So he did a great job making sure everything ran smoothly. And
Bill Swain, of course, is an Australian international in old boys rugby in the Australian parliamentary side, featuring brilliantly in their win against the Kiwis in the World Cup, before the Royal World Cup in 2015.
As Sam Irwin puts this one through, Bill entertaining us with all of the different facts and figures. And, of course, you Bills have to stick together, don't you?
Well, indeed, mate. No, he was did a very good job at the Brumbies. He did a good job at Royals, and he was a very good player, even though he's a bit long in the tooth now. I think he played lower grades at Royals for last couple of years, but Sam has converted that, and that's a good sign.
Absolutely.
That was a good kick, and he's normally a pretty good kicker, so he'll be happy with that. Uni-Norths 7, East 5.
Yeah, it could be the difference. As we said before, it's hard to separate these two sides. My tip is that Uni-Norths actually come into this game as favourites, as Ben Love gives it off nice and quickly. It was knocked on by Ben Love. And the ball from Phil Ferreira just not quite making the hands. Looks like they've got matching head gear out there, or actually I think it might be their hair. Retro outfits for
a lot of retro outfits there, and
not only on their torsos, up on their heads.
There's
too.
some very stocky boys in the forward pack there, and can any of the backs wearing fluorescent shoes or orange shoes or anything out there, Kieran?
Richardson has some fluorescent yellow, and there's some nice blue shoes on Rakanai's feet.
Good.
You like the fluorescent, do you?
Well, no, I think it's probably, sort of things backs tend to like to wear, sort of flashy shoes and that, so
it's so that we don't miss them when they make a break.
Yes, something to do with that, I'm sure. Well, the referee setting the scrum again.
Yeah, made a point about the stocky boys in the front row. I think there's two front rows.
Stocky boy at halfback for East too, in Jacob Abel.
Yes, that's right.
I think it's pretty stocky family, I think, the Abel family. Some very good footballers in it.
Expecting a real tight contest in the scrum today, both these sides. Well matched as Jacob takes his time getting it out the back, and a flat pass to Rakanai. That was forward. Good call, Bill.
Very forward there. That was about a yard forward. So. A metre, sorry, show Mage. So the scrum will be put down. Midfield.
Not a good start there from Jacob Angelatos with the forward pass on his first dispersal, really, of the match out the back. It's Jacob and Jacob in the halves today because their main man, Carlos Mar, is injured after a concussion last week, unfortunately, in the fly half position. So he's replaced by Jacob Angelatos.
Excellent. Thanks for telling me that, Kieran.
We did, as I said before, we ran into this game really fast. We haven't had a chance to change your team sheets there, Bill, but we'll update you as we go.
Thanks. Oh, well done. I'll just use yours.
Sounds good. Live from ANU North Oval, you are watching the Griffin Legal John O'Dant Cup, and what a season it's been so far. We'll keep you up to date at halftime with the scores from the other parks, thanks to the great team at Brumbies.
The Owls players received their Centenary Norths jerseys from rugby legend Brad Gervin. Brad played with the Wallabies in the late 80s. He was a marvellous ACT representative and North stalwart in the 80s, playing Australian under-21s in the early 80s, and then with the Wallabies. I think he was best back in the game against England when they went over there in the late 80s. Unfortunately, Bob Bryant dropped him after that, but Brad got a try at least, and that was rather controversial, I recall, at the time. But it's great to see Brad back here. He certainly made a huge contribution to Canberra rugby, as is his old man. He's an old North stalwart as well.
I'm no use right now, Bill. I am loving listening to your stories, and it's only pertinent because we are in heritage rounds as the short arm is given to Uni-Norths Owls, and it's handed out the back to Gilmore, who shows and goes, and he goes straight in.
Going straight. That's good. He's made about 10 yards. Helped on by the forwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
A good, solid player, Tom Gilmore. He's been with the Owls now for a number of years and rarely has a bad game.
Phil Ferreira rounds off two before taking it to the ground and holding it nice and tight to his body. I reckon he was very sneaky there to get that one away as Jordan Thompson puts it on the boot. And East fine touch, so we'll have a line out in Owls' favour.
Well, the wind seems to be blowing more across field than anything else, but that's a good 30, 40 metre gain by the Owls, and play will recommence about 30 metres out, if that, from the East try line.
Very capable of striking from this far out. As we mentioned before, they beat Vikings. Oh no, a knock on. That'll
good counter-attack here from the Owls.
Hurt Tim Cornforth on the sideline.
Yes, it will.
As Thompson shows and goes himself. So good field position here after a double turnover. Again for Phil Ferreira. And a knock-on, unfortunately.
that's
So
unfortunate for
errors littering this first half exchange. I was about to say that Vikings saw the wrath of the Uni-North Owls in its full force just a couple of weeks ago, where they were able to attack from anywhere on the park. And if they get their wheels spinning today, expect to see attacking opportunities all over. I reckon you could put a fair bit of money on a high-scoring game, in fact, because you could say very similar things about Easts.
You could, and clearly I think I didn't see that game with the Owls and Tuggeranong. That obviously was a brilliant display, and especially to be 31 points up against Tuggeranong is a superb effort. And they do have the ability to turn the points on very, very quickly, as do Easts. I think that's probably one of Uni-North's great strengths, the ability to do that, and they're certainly playing some fairly consistent rugby this year too.
Rakanai takes it up, and it's on the boot of Angelados. He goes back to cover, but Thompson has it now. Little skip and
nice.
Beats one. He beats two, and three more go to ground before he does. Wow, beautiful.
Thompson makes 30 metres there, plays pretty close to the East's. Whoops.
Circling over the top. I think it was...
well, someone's lost the ball
Panesh
there.
Kamaru found himself.
No, that's all right.
Let go, Green! Let go, Green!
You can hear the referee there just calling out to the Owls to take their hand off the ball. But he's playing a swift game so far, the referee, letting them go, and no penalties at the breakdown so far, just a few handling errors.
That's right. No, he's had quite a good game so far. It's
we like to see flying rugby.
well, we do, and it's good. I mean, most of the games I've seen in the last few years, the referees have done a pretty good job, let the game flow, and not made too many errors.
We're going to see Lockie Crichton get this if this goes the way that the Owls want it. And there he is now, and he has just come back from a cheekbone injury, combining now
good run
with Ferreira on the
Yep.
back of a Gilmore pass. Here he is again, Crichton.
Going the blindside again. Oh, nicely done.
That was Bennett, the skipper.
Bennett again. He's done well. No, he's a great
Cleaned
player.
out by Rakanai.
And here we go again. No, but East do have it.
They have stolen it.
And they have stolen that.
Wow, what a clean out from Rakanai. He timed that beautifully. And there was no one at home to defend. Samuelu. Sam. And he takes it up himself. This time it's one away. And
that's
loose
a knock
ball.
on.
Yeah, it will be.
Well, he's picked it. That's well done. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an old rugby stalwart here, the long-time president of Easts, patron of their juniors, even got an under-18 side together this year. He played a lot of rugby for the ACT. He won a first-grade premiership with his older brother Peter, who was our first Wallaby, when in his younger days as a centre from Royals, then went to Easts in the mid-60s, and he stayed there ever since.
What an introduction.
Gordon Scott. Hello, Gordon. How are you, mate?
Hello, Bill. How are you? Hello, everybody. What a wonderful day, to have two of the oldest teams, or three of the oldest teams in Canberra represented. It's been an amazing 80 years, and wonderful to see that the three clubs involved have been so heavily involved in the development of rugby and the development of good young people to go forward into the community. From an East perspective, it's really good to see the good work done on the back of 3 hard years, and due credit to our coach, John Ross, who steered us through some very hard times, but he got all the players to back up week after week, and now we're starting to have a bit of a rebirth and a regeneration, and that's what rugby's about. It's just trying hard and really keeping going. So
Here we are. They've been trying hard this season, haven't they?
They have. They've done very well this year. No, they haven't. This game here today, I think it's fair to say both these teams are fighting for a berth in the 4, and here we are, a scoreline of 7-5. You couldn't get closer.
Scotty, could you tell us the story behind the East Jumpers? Where did they come from, mate? What's the story there?
Well, I can't say I know. But it looks a bit like the Sydney Swans and St George jumper to me. But
as Crichton takes it away for Thompson, and he puts it on the boot this time. That was successful for them earlier. It'll bounce once before finding touch. So great kick for field position. And they'll back themselves to turn it over once more. Thank you, Gordon.
Thanks very much, Gordon. And I don't know if you're doing Mr. X, mate, but Gordon, could you do the prettiest back competition, mate? There's probably not very many out there, but good luck. And we'll get someone to do the most destructive forward if we can find someone else.
As East get this line out, it's an important one for them. They've lost it. Ball's gone to ground and
here
went
we go. He's got
backwards. It went backwards,
East
so
have
East retain the possession. They need to get out of here. It was a very mature decision from Thompson to get field position just earlier. And it's worked for them, so they'll get a line out in their favour, just short of the 22.
I think it's outside the 22, actually, Kieran, so that's not a bad clearing kick. He's taken it about 25 metres out from his own try line.
Not bad at all. As
well
Bennett
done,
gets
Bennett
it out
again.
over the top. He's a
Bennett going
stalwart.
straight ahead. Let's see if the Owls forwards get in there. They are.
As Gilmore gets it, and he
Gilmore
cuts out for
yep.
Thompson.
Oh, but here we go.
Rakanai came out
Oh,
of the
yes.
line. Searching for options. They've got a few on the short side, but there's a tussle down there at the bottom of the breakdown. It's been turned over. Jacob sends it backwards for their fullback in Callan. And it's one away for Morso, who puts it on the boot. Gilmore's going to take it. He's got an option for a quick line out. He wants it. It's Crichton now. Not really much to work with, and that one's come out of
good.
line. Well done, Sam Irwin, for bouncing off the tackle. He's got one on his outside. He's going to use him. It's David Bennett. It's the skipper. He comes back to the centre.
He scores. No, he doesn't. Jeez, he's close.
Wait for it, Bill. Wait for it. That's some Owls excitement right there. Just short onto the inside of the breakdown. Now they come. Going to dig a tunnel. Cheers.
Well, that's it.
Half-hearted, and now they can be full-hearted because the Owls have scored at the bottom of the breakdown. What a beautiful passage of play there. All started by Sam Irwin.
They did that well. And Dave Bennett, of course, powering ahead with the ball, almost scored. A ruck was formed. He didn't quite get there, but Uni have powered over. Uni-Norths. They scored that try, Kieran.
We didn't bring out the binoculars, Bill.
Oh, you can't see either.
Yeah, mate. They were obscured, but on the replay, I'm sure we'll see.
Well, that takes the scoreboard ticks over to 12-5 with the kick to come. Sam Irwin, who started that movement, is now going to attempt his second conversion to see if he can make it 2 out of 2.
And Bennett so nearly got there, didn't he? They did well to recover East and get back and stop the ball of muscle from rolling over, but wouldn't to be. Well, it was. They did stop him, but the next phase is all it took. Live from ANU North Oval, you're watching the Griffin Legal John O'Dent Cup. It's the Hahn Super Dry Match of the Round. And of course, we say those precursors because it's a big thank you to the sponsors for making this happen, the live stream and the competition itself. Without them, of course, you wouldn't be watching from home. Do let us know where you're watching from today. We're keeping an eye on the live stream, and we'll give you a shout out. Sam Irwin with a clean strike. And
nice little kick there. He's made it 2 out of 2, so it looks like Sam Irwin might well be having a good day with the boot, which will certainly help Uni Owls immensely in this centenary, this anniversary game of 80 years from these two grand old clubs.
You be careful with that commentator's curse there, Bill. He won't like listening back to that.
Well, he probably won't if he sort of stuffs it up, but hopefully he won't.
Wendy Brook at home watching is going for the Owls as that one's taken nice and high. The referee says play on. Good regather for the second time today in this corner from East. And of course, it was Langi Lolatonga who got up there nice and high to gather it with that awesome red braid over the top of his head. Digging low is Junior Monu.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually.
Let go, Seven. Let go.
Limalaba took that one up, and
maybe he's a frustrated outside back or something.
Misa Rasmus now on the outside of the Brumbies ranks. Didn't get much of an opportunity this year, but has been doing good work for East in the meantime. And it's handed off to Limalaba once more. Beautiful clearing pass from Morso, created an opportunity for Rakanai to kick it over the top, but he's overcooked this one. It will come back for advantage played, though.
Well, the kick was out in the full too, so East will be happy actually to get the penalty there. Certainly within kicking range, if on a bit of an angle. Well, let's see what they'll do. Will they go for the line out to try to keep pressure up or take the points? or at least try to take the points.
Yeah, my guess is the line out of this stage in the game,
I
Bill.
think you're right, Kieran. He's shaping up to do that. Sorry, who's the 5'8" again for East?
It's Jacob Angelatos, replacing Carlos Ma, who has a shoulder and head injury after last week's loss to Royals 33-7 at Phillip Oval. It was a disappointing display by East after a great start to the season, but they're showing today that they've got the potential to mix it with the best this year, as they have done all season,
here we
and
go.
cleaned
Whoops.
up over the top by Penny Nefo.
He's gone very close to the line.
Just short once more, trying to dig another tunnel.
Good uni defence there. He's trying to burrow under it. They're about a metre out.
Penny Nefo there. No way through. Langi Lolo Tonga is clearing. I thought he was going to pick and go himself, but he didn't. Angelatos had to get rid of it quickly. Rakanai
And that wasn't the
was
best
on
pass,
the
but
jump.
he's a big, strong man. He's moved it forward about 3 metres despite the attention of 3 hours players.
Absolutely, that was
Whoops,
excellent
and
play.
that's another penalty.
So Liam Bilston knocks it on, but it didn't matter. Jacob Abel now. He's shown lots of attention as well, Bill. He's a strong player. Oh, good hit.
Two big men on each other there. A great hit there by the Owls player.
The second big test of Owls defence. We're playing advantage right now while East have it in possession. They're going to try and dig, but there's a full complement of Owls players there to prevent that option. And it's knocked on, so we're going to go back to the penalty, and might be a card here, Bill.
Well, this could. Well, I hope not. I mean, this has been a very good game so far. There's been very little dirty play. It'd be nice if all 15 stay on. No, he doesn't seem to be giving him too hard a time, so it looks like just another penalty. Hopefully.
I need discipline in this area. Understood?
Just asking for discipline by the sounds of it. A late tackle and late into the ruck was the call from the referee. So David Bennett earning a little bit of a spray, and he'll probably take that back to his team.
Well, he would, mate. That's what you're there for as captain. So no doubt he can tell the boys just to keep it nice and tight and don't make any unnecessary infringements.
Mentioned George Morso. He's wearing the number 14 in your shot right now. He's one of the leading try scorers in the whole competition.
He's actually a very electrifying player. He was very impressive. I think Royals got him from Papua New Guinea. He's very impressive with them, and he's gone over with Tommy Cornford to Easts, and he is certainly an exciting player.
Good push from East, get the good position for Jacob Abel to get it out nice and simply. He steps off his right foot, then his left foot, and there's an attack on the ball from Gilmore, but he couldn't wrangle it loose. It was a good decision to go himself. They've gone over. Is it try time? Not yet.
Held up.
Well, you'll have to see that from your halfback, taking it himself when there's no real option to go forwards by sending it out to the backs, and another penalty here. Oh, penalty try it was.
Penalty try, or?
Yeah, that's what it'll be, because it was held up. I didn't see. It might have been a call from the assistant referee, Bill. I did take my eyes off the field.
No, I didn't see that. I wouldn't have given that a penalty try, but...
No, my guess is that the assistant referee's come in and seen the ball on the chalk, and so George Morso will get a chance to convert here.
Okay, so if you've seen the ball on the chalk, that's a try. So
yes.
It's a try. So that actually, pretty well evens up the score. 12.
This will make it 12 apiece.
It will make it 12 apiece. Oh, hold it. Uni's got 14 because Uni converted both tries.
True, 12 points to
14
14.
to 12, but he's not going to miss this one. Scotty, what are you doing there, son? Oh, yeah, another one of those would go well.
I'm having mine out of a glass.
Oh, that's very... No, I won't, mate, but I'll just have a cleansing arm, mate. Just,
You're ordering a water there, Bill.
Yeah, what about you, mate? You got one, Kieran?
No, I got a coffee. I'm good, mate.
You got a coffee?
Yeah, thank
Good.
you. As we go back underway through the boot of Tom Gilmore, and the score line 14 points to 12, with not long to play in this first half. 15 minutes to go. So a scintillating passage of play that was. Pressure after pressure after pressure.
Good pressure in about 5 penalties in a row to East, but they applied the pressure. You do that, you get the penalties.
That's right, as Gilmore looks for a couple of options, and it's his boot is the one that he wants. Great pressure there, up out of the line from Matayawa.
It came off the right side of Tom's boot there, unfortunately.
And Matayawa is an imposing figure when he's sprinting at the fly half. And he forced the error there from Gilmore, so good field position again for Easts. You can see in the middle of that V there on their jersey is Big Lion.
Right, yes.
Looking very regal there, those East boys. As we come away once more through the hands of Angelatos, and he gives it to Matayawa, who forced the error before, and he's obviously charged up. He takes it a good 10 metres before he's put down, and the error from Jacob Abel goes deflating football there if you're an East fan.
Yeah, well, Matayawa was certainly having a good game there.
Yeah, nice little passage of play from the number 6.
Yeah.
Short line out is the option. Crichton gets
Well
it to
done.
Gilmore fast. And those two have been working really well this season as Thompson finds
That's a
the
good
left
kick,
foot.
actually. That's going to, well, unfortunately didn't bounce very well, but landed between 2 lots of East players.
Just short, just past the 10-metre line. Irwin was there and putting pressure on as the Rakanai tries to get an offload of a streaky basketball-style offload, and it gets turned over. That's what happens when you hold it one-handed. That's the risk
here we
that
go.
you take. As
Now,
Dan Peretti
I
tried
don't
to
know why
make a
he
break.
pulled that up. I mean, an Owls player was breaking away. You think you'd play the advantage there and let them go, but anyway, he's called it back for a scrum. Owls put in.
Dan Peretti, that man who nearly made it through there. Bill has had an excellent season.
He has. He certainly has. Well, he's certainly in the thick of it today as well.
Yeah, you could give praise to that, to the back four, really, in the front, in the forward pack.
Crouch.
Bode,
Fine.
they say, used as a roll of tape on each limb before he starts. Max Bode.
Now green.
Well, he's a big boy, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's got to keep everything together as Irwin plays fly half. He
Oh,
gives it off
nicely
beautifully to Trent Storen.
Who's...
He's out on his own. He's going to need
It's
some
all right.
support.
He's got some support there in Bennett and somebody else. And nice tackle. Although,
There was a head-high tackle
Okay.
there as it was turned over again. So East will get the penalty and piggyback out of their own half if the kick is good.
Number 8.
Owls need to ensure that when they do get down into the East 22, they don't give the game away by silly penalties and effectively keep the pressure on. There's no need to rush it. But, last couple of times, there's been some very promising breaks, but unfortunately, an error's crept in. Some errors crept in round about the 22, and I think if they can get on top of that, they could. It'll go a long way towards helping win this game. If they can't, it's going to make it very difficult for them. They need to keep that passage of play going.
That one was a rush of blood to the head, a Pink Floyd, you might say, as Dave Bennett flew into that breakdown and forced the error. So we come away for East once more, but very good observation, Bill. The pressure hasn't been built on East yet. They've taken the advantage of the opportunities, including one try from well away from the line for Uni-Norths. Well, both tries really for Uni-Norths have come from around halfway. That's been the build-up and off the back of kicks too. So they haven't built the pressure yet.
Oops.
It'll be interesting to see what they can do when they do. Away now for Langi Lolotonga.
You're off your feet now, 7, let go.
And likewise, Easts have been very, very good at building the pressure today. Unlike when we saw them against West at home back in round 12. When they had the ball, they dropped it. It was a fairly good rule for that game as we see the boot just clip the chalk on the way through. That is a shame for East fans. And a good build again, though, and almost a direct replica of their first 5-pointer today.
It is, yes. They've certainly been applying the pressure well. Uni throw in. Uni Norths throw in on the 5 metre line.
Bennett
Well taken by Bennett.
with plenty of time as they go down for the maul to try and rein in some of these east forwards. And Gilmore clears
good
it.
kick. It's going over the East players.
That would have looked good at Monica Oval,
It,
Bill.
it would have, mate, but yes, it would indeed. East have, however, thrown the ball back in.
Callan
Good
sends
kick.
it high.
Whoops.
It's gone backwards, though, and that's okay because Callan put them all onside. So Jacob Abel with the ball now just past the halfway line. Good looking kick once more. Here's Gilmore.
Straight down Gilmore's throat there. He's in his 22. He kicks. That's a long raking kick which will find touch.
A long way
Down,
past
a beautiful
halfway.
kick. A long way past halfway. In fact, I think that's about 2 metres or 3 metres out from the East 22. A great kick from Tom Gilmore.
Oh, he's got a big, long
He's got a beautiful
lever,
boot on
doesn't
him,
he?
hasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he's shown that a couple of times today, and it hasn't even been him that have set up the tries off his boot. So this Owls side loves their kicking.
Which is good if you do it well, and that was a good kick, and a couple of the kicks have been quite good because they've been into space and knocked down each player's throat. So those are the sort of kicks you certainly want. Those are the sort of kicks you can turn into points.
Outside of the line.
Nearly stolen there off the line out, and again the pressure deflates. And exactly what you're talking about before, a little mini mistake will just give East the ball and the chance to get back out of their own half.
It does, and here we go again. And East have shown they're very capable of getting the ball back down into the Owls 22 without too much trouble and apply the pressure themselves. Let's see what they do here.
Fine. Set.
Coming up to 5 minutes left in the first half of this clash here. The battle for a top 4 position. The winner will go into the top 4 and be in a really good spot heading into the finals as George Morso for the first time
Here
gets
he
to
goes.
spread his
Oh.
legs, but there's only Green behind him.
And that was a great pass by George to the Uni outside centre. And Uni have now... Oh, here we go.
Crichton.
Crichton's got the ball, goes to ground. And it's an Owls penalty. We haven't seen too many of those.
Not recently.
What was that for, mate? I'm pretty dreadful of these rules.
Something about not keeping their feet is my guess.
You think so?
And I reckon if anyone is good at rugby union rules, they should be the chief referee.
Yes.
Or,
It's a very complicated game.
or write a book.
Well, actually, it's not that complicated a game, but it's made complicated by a lot of rules. Not a bad kick. Takes play down towards the East 22.
They have a man, they have a referee. Usually it's the Chief Canberra referee, Steve, who sits in the box for the big screen presentation at Brumbies games, and he tells them which
Oh, stolen there
issue
by
it
East.
was.
Nice tackle. A lot of pressure actually put on East now by the Owls.
Well done from East.
However, East have that ball.
Circling over, Callan will be on the end of it, and he'll grubber it, trying to look for touch to give his players a chance to recover. Very
Well,
good decision.
That was a good grubber kick which takes play just short of the 40-metre line, about 38 metres out or thereabouts from the East's try line.
2 points is the difference, and with under 5 minutes to go here in the first half, if Owls don't go through here, full credit has to go for 2 Easts for absorbing the pressure, as Phil Ferreira takes it up now, sporting that après-ski hairstyle.
Indeed, mate.
And Ben Love now in pretty much the identical hairstyle as Ferreira. They've used their forwards to go forward. Now they're going backwards, wheeling around for Thompson.
Well,
Thompson
he sees a gap.
steps through.
He stepped. Oh, no, but one defender too far, unfortunately. There was a great... But this is good. Bennett's got it. Bennett's...
Ferreira, and
Ferreira's
off the
given
back
it
now
to-
for Storen. Storen steps
nicely. Too many each players, though.
It crowded up, didn't it?
Play on.
Oh, no, and East have taken the ball.
It was very chancy play there from Owls.
It was. Well, that's a high Gary Owen, as they say in the classics. Taken nicely by the Owls fullback. Passes it to long pass to Sam Irvin. Sam, run you quick, give it to you. Oh, not the best pass.
Sammy Owen, the crocodile hunter, gave it flat and he's injured down low. It might just be a moment of cork. Perhaps he's getting up on his own. The trainer's heading out and we're out with Owls still on the board. It's been raked out. The referee wasn't happy with the way that he raked it out though, and so a penalty's been blown to Owls.
Oh, no, Sam's done something to himself there, or hopefully not too serious. And it's an Owls penalty about 5 metres out. Well, he's up. Maybe he just needs a bit of a breather.
Owls went to the mall, you'll remember, only about 5 minutes ago on the opposite end of the park to try and get themselves out of trouble. It was successful. Let's see if they go to the mall here for the attack.
And they did well there. They got over, didn't they? So, yes.
Yeah.
Taken. Nicely.
Yeah, really well done there up top.
Put your head down,
Ferreira.
son. Jesus.
They don't choose the mall, which is probably a good decision because they have a lengthy overlap here. If they can get the ball out quick enough, Storen gives it over the top for Thompson. He goes himself on
And
the
he
inside.
scored. Well done. Well, he's got a lovely step. And that takes the score to Owls 19, East 12, with only a few minutes left before half time.
It was a good step, wasn't it? Beautiful off the right boot, back to the inside. And he had one man on the outside, but he didn't take the chance.
Well, Scotty, we'll ask you, what do you think of the game so far, mate? You being an East stalwart, and it's only a couple of minutes before half-time. Comments from Gordon Scott?
Well, I think everybody here should be really totally engrossed with what's happening. It's a very close match. Uni have just drawn away a bit now to lead by 7 points. But I tell you what, it's still anybody's game, and I think what's really happening here, there's some really great battles going on at the breakdown, and both teams are winning their share of ball, and really the set plays, there's not a slice of bread in between them both, so we're in for a really entertaining second half, and both teams are playing very entertaining rugby, and I think everybody would agree the skill level's very high. So enjoy the afternoon, enjoy the second half. I'll be back hopefully later on with some comments about East victory, but we'll see.
I don't know about that, mate, but remember, you are doing the prettiest back, so... As Sam Ewan lines up this shot, let's see if he can make it 3 out of 3.
I hope he's back anyway. I love his comments. There we go. I told you.
Oh, no, well, we thought he
Bill.
jinxed Sam there, and
Be
unfortunately he missed that just to the right.
With great power comes great responsibility, Bill.
Left-handed upright. Well, that was his easiest kick so far.
It was. So unfortunately for him and the Owls, the score remains 19 points to 12 here in the final moments of this first half. Great comments. It has been highly skilled, this game. Lola Tonga gets up and gets a big mid on it once more. And Lamileba with the ball down low. Show and go from Misa Rasmus. He beats four.
That's a good run by the big
I
East prop.
was going to say he was taken down. Send the whole team in. We need the Avengers. And sent back for Samuelu, Angelatos, Rakonai. Oh, hand on it. It will be advantage. I thought there was a knock-on against the Owls there.
Well, there's a knock-on by East there. A little bit of basketball there, which disjointed East a bit, and someone dropped it. Crowy, what's happening? Silly, come over here now. I'm giving you all a treat here. I've got Silly Poitevin, actually Andrew Poitevin, former uni first grade prop, Simon Poitevин's older brother, and club steward who's come up from Sydney for the reunion. Silly, your comments on the game so far, mate?
Well, it's a very willing game, Bill. It's good to see both sides going really hard, and I think Uni are ahead, aren't we now? Fantastic. So it's nice the rain stayed away, Bill. Makes for a good fast track, and we look forward to a good second half. And great to see you, old mate.
Mate, it's good to see you. Andrew and myself, Silly and myself, used to do the ANU rugby show back in about 74, 75 on then Radio ANU, so it's always good to see Andrew come back. He played a number of first-grade games at the club before going and playing with Uni New South Wales, wasn't it, mate? Yeah.
Andrew,
and of course,
before you go, mate, a tip for the second half?
Sorry?
Your tip for the second half?
My tip for the second half is the Owls by 15.
Very, very good. You'll be happy with that, Bill.
I'd be happy with that if it happens.
We are going to take a break here at ANU North Oval It has been a wonderful first half of rugby here, and the scoreboard separates the two sides, but it's very hard to separate them in performance. Very, very impressive from both sides early on here. We'll be back with heaps more action in the second half at ANU North Oval. Don't go anywhere. In the meantime, let's have a look at the highlights from last week's match of the round.
Well done.
And we're just about underway here at Phillip. And there it is, the first kick off of the day, taken down there nicely by Luke Kimber for Royals to get us underway.
Minutes of that time, so try and maximise it as much as possible.
McMahon has this for Royals, finds Lincoln Smith, who's busted through that first tackle, comes to Verity Am. He's only a metre or so out here, Lincoln Smith. Royals all of a sudden, Luke Kimber on that hard line again. He's stopped at his tracks, a really good tackle. Royals are over the line, are they, or has it been lost forward?
I think
East have done well to get hold of this ball up. It's still there at the back for Orlando. It's come out slowly. Joel Penders has it. He's over.
Joel loves his work in that part of the ground. Got into a really good spot, low body height, and unfortunately that's near impossible when you're on your back foot like that.
Who's his carrier now? I think it's Lolohea.
Still time on this right-hand side for Royals.
Yep, Orlando comes open side to McMahon. He finds Simonson. There's a good carry in the corner for Seth going, and it's a try to the Royals winger. Put it down to Dean Paragali. Orlando goes short side. McMahon holds the ball up for Ben Johnson in the corner. Well, that's vintage Royals.
That's
McMahon to Johnson in the corner. So Pedro Orlando gets us underway. Matt Hogan blows time on. So Royals leading 21-0, and East just trying to get their way into the game, and that's not gone well with Feleti Kahea. Royals try score, he brought down. Orlando quickly comes short side to Edgerton. There's Ben Johnson on the far side. It's a great tackle there. One of his forwards, Abel, finds brother Robbie. Carlos Maher at the back finds James Verity-Am, who gets a good offload to George Morso in a bit of space, and these Royals blokes would know they've got to bring him down quickly. Tried to get the offload back infield, George Morso. Yeah, he was in a bit of trouble, but it's a penalty against East. Orlando goes quickly, finds Luke Kimber, who has to stop and readjust. McMahon finds Paragali, who finds Lincoln Smith, who strolls over on the far side for Royals' fourth try of the afternoon. Orlando again finds Falalisione. Again, space just closes in around him. The Royals player has jumped over though, and it is Sione Lolohea with the try.
Under the hook
Yeah,
up.
it has. East scrum was holding well. They've done well to get this ball back after Royals got the second shove. Carlos Maher gets a pass out the back of Andrew Bain. Ball spilling around. That's, I reckon you're right, but I think it's play on. There's Junior Monu. He finds Carlos Maher. George Morso's looming there, but he's been well covered. He's in a bit of space though now, George Morso. He's got the kick ahead. Can he fall on it? He has. And that is a good old consolation try, I reckon. And that is a wrap for us here at Phillip. Thanks for your company on Bar TV Sports.
Welcome back to ANU North Oval for the Griffin Legal John O'Dent Cup Hahn Superdry match of the round. My name is Kieran Deck, and a very big thank you to Bill for supporting me this afternoon. You're going to sub out, mate.
I am, mate. I've been subbed off at half time. That's what happens when you get a bit old and crotchety, and I've got a very capable replacement here I'll be handing over to. And
I genuinely
Kieran,
thought you had 60 minutes in you, mate.
oh, well, anyway, not to worry, mate. You've got the shield around. And Kieran, I mean, I was going to call you Trevor Allen a couple of times because you sound like him, but it's been a pleasure commentating with you, and the teams are running out. and it has been a good second half, and certainly I hope, being club patron here, that the Owls will continue on with it, but it's been a very good game of rugby so far, and I'll now sign off as the Owls run out for the second half, closely followed by Easts.
You won't be on your own over there, Bill. It's a great contingent of old boys in this heritage round, so enjoy it.
I certainly will.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, what a first half of footy here. I'll be joined in just a moment by Bill Yole, who's just flown down the Hume Highway, I understand. Bill, thanks for joining me.
No worries, Kim. Thanks for having me. Great to be here at the Owls' 80th day and see that they've got a little bit of a lead at halftime, which is also good to see.
They do, and 19 points to 12 after the first half. But as I said just before we signed off for a little break there, it's hard to split the sides in performance.
Yeah, not surprising that the sides aren't separated by much on the table, and the resurgence from East this year has been really, really impressive, and look for some more of the same in the second half, I'd say.
Considering the last two performances by East, they've been on the match of the round for last week against Royals and the week before that against West, which I had the pleasure of calling. Their defensive efforts left much wanting. Today, however, they've been very strong.
Yeah, it's been a really, really tight first half from what I've seen. The Owls boys are really aiming up, trying to put on a show for the crowd, but the East boys aren't really going to lie down for them either, so expecting to see some more of that in this half.
Angelatos, if you've just joined us, is playing fly half for the East, replacing Carlos Mar out with an injured shoulder as a Magpie joins the field of players. Tom Gilmore puts it end over ends for Mullen, and Mullen will retaliate with a drop punt that doesn't make much metres. So good field position early on in the second half for the Owls.
Yeah, a couple of difficult exit kicks for East there that didn't quite find the mark. I'm not sure Coach Tim Cornforth would be too happy with the exits. Chance for the Owls now to attack just outside the 22.
James Lynch has had a fairly good game with the ball in hand overhead, so we'll see if he continues that now. He does. Bennett gets it nice and clean, and Crichton for Gilmore. Gilmore off that left foot. He's found a gap, and he skips away. He gets crushed by East Sandwich and sent out over the top. The Lions were circling there.
That was a big step from Gilmore to get on the inside and find some space. Really impressive from the fly half.
One player we haven't seen for the Owls with any space yet today is Panesh Kamara, who's had a great season so far, Bill Yole.
Yeah, I've been admiring him from afar. Obviously he wasn't here last year while I was here at the Owls, but he's been a really impressive, I guess, recruit for the Owls this year, and I'm back.
Oh, what a pick up there. Sorry to interrupt you, as Richardson nearly spins over the line, but he had to reach one hand out like a slips catch. Sent back now for Bosco Tagaloa.
He's met by about 4 blokes on the line, manages to still crash over the advantage line.
Absolutely, that was really impressive from him. Gilmore now to his skipper Bennett, who had to stop, but it was way easier.
They're very impressive show and go from Bennett to go over there. Saw he had a hooker coming across who shouldn't be defending out that wide. Sold in the dummy and went over himself.
Wow, that was special to watch, wasn't it? Especially after he almost started from a standstill, and he recovered nicely to step off his left foot for the first points of the second half. We have been chatting in the first half, Bill, about the position of these two teams on the ladder. They're really vying for a spot in the top 4, and the team that wins today gets a downhill run to the finals. This is so important for both sides.
Yeah, amazingly important, Kieran, and it's great to see in the competition this year that it is so wide open. You know, almost every team at one point or another has been contending for the finals, and I think for both these sides who haven't been in the finals for a long time, if one of them were to make the finals, it'd be a great thing for the Canberra competition.
Bennett will be pretty happy with that. In the first half, he came inches short after a lovely break from this man who's about to kick the ball. Sam Irwin set his skipper free, but he was stopped just short of the line, and it was a forward finish for the Owls. But now he's got 5 points to his name, and the Owls have accumulated 24 with another 2 on offer here. And in front of a healthy crowd here at ANU North Oval, Sam Irwin converts the try in the second half. The first try in the second half. I'm going to get that right later today, as it is an impressive crowd out here today, Bill.
And don't the crowd love the trademark Samu and sway before each conversion attempt? They're all loving it. They're all getting into it. It's great to see such a great and vibrant crowd here at Uni-Norths.
I would like to, if ever anyone's watching at home and they plan on being there during finals time, if Sammy Owen gets a chance to do that on the sideline, I reckon we should get a bit of a Merv Hughes style crowd sway going with him, hey?
I would love that. As the ball hits the ground but calls play on for a
Number
knockback.
1, let it go. You're off.
East have done this a few times. This time they failed, though, losing their feet in the breakdown. East have cleared out really nicely today. They've sent their forwards in hard and fast, but that one was a bit ill-disciplined.
Yeah, and it seems like it's an area they've targeted before the game. They really wanted to hit the Owls hard with the counter-ruck, and it's worked for them a few times, causing a few turnovers. But unsuccessful that time as they were unable to stay on their feet, and the Owls got the penalty.
And a great kick from Gilmore. His drop punt must have Ainsley Football Club looking at him.
Well, he's been one of the best kicks in the competition for his whole career. It's not surprising to see him find such distance.
One of the most experienced players in this Owls lineup, of course. As he finds himself in possession once more, and it's going through the hands back to the inside again for Thompson, and Thompson off the left foot. He has one to beat. They're crowding him again, but he has options on the outside. Dan Paretti.
Magical footwork from Thompson to work his way through the middle, then around some more tacklers, and a brilliant cutout ball out wide for Dan Paretti to get over in the corner. That was a magical try.
You don't often see the forwards backing up like that, but they had to be there because they'd exhausted their backline to this side of the field. And Dan Paretti, he wanted that pill more than anyone, didn't he?
He really did, and he's gotten over in the corner, and the Owls will be feeling quietly confident with this lead, but obviously they need to keep their foot on the gas.
31 points to 12 is a very healthy lead, and I didn't want to say it after that first try in this second half. There you go, I did it, Bill. But I am very, very interested to see whether East can gather it together. Last week in their second half against Royals, they kind of switched off, Bill, in the second half. So if they can find a leader, Jacob or someone up forward there to really put the fire under them, they can shut down this margin and they can get back into this contest.
Well, it seems to me from watching in the first half, East look at their most dangerous when their big forwards are carrying the ball up out wide. So getting people like Misa Rasmus and Penny Nifo, getting them good early carries and with a bit of width from the ruck is the way for them to get back in this game and get on the front foot. Very,
very good point there, Bill. Misa Rasmus, I don't know if you caught it because you were in the car, but he had a break that it looked like he was untouchable or untackleable. Oh, this one hitting the left upright, and Sam Owen doesn't get the 2 points for this one, but it remains 31 points to 12 here at ANU North Oval. You're watching the Hahn Superdry match of the rounds in a super tight competition. My name's Kieran Deck, and I'm joined by Bill Yole. It's Bill and Bill in the commentary team. We had another Bill in the first half there, Yolo.
He did, Bill Stefaniak, and he did a great job, didn't he?
And he did. He was... he's a raconteur. He loves a good story, and he had a few guest commentators come in as well. There he is, Misa Rasmus. He sends it out to Samuello.
That was Penny Nifo out wide there.
Thanks, mate. That's the benefit of your eyes. There's Sammy. And he's back for Angelatos.
Gilmore flying out of the line there, shutting that tackle before it had any chance to go anywhere.
Yeah, and Rakanai does need shutting down because on his own he is dangerous. Rakanai really hasn't had much space to move, and neither has George Morso. They're two major attacking weapons in their back line as they find themselves on the 22 now, Easts.
Well, there seems to have been in the Owls defence a lot of shooters coming from out wide to shut down the attack when it hits the middle of the field, and it seems to be working for the Owls so far in this game.
Roland Matayawa taking that last run up, and he's looked strong today. Didn't gain any metres though. Here's Rakanai once more. He's got two on the outside. Will Callan is his first option, but he can't make it to him.
Keep moving. No effect.
Mathanawe in the 11.
5, take a step. 5, green, step.
Angelatos, one away.
Making ground slowly, East, but they're retaining the ball and their shape seems to be holding quite well.
Absolutely, and this is something that was lacking against West a couple of weeks ago. So If they can build the pressure here, score on the back end of this good field position and pressure, then they are a great chance of coming back into this match with heaps of time left on the clock. No one out there. That was an interesting decision to go to the short side. They were well outnumbered by ours players.
Angelatos looks like he's down in a bit of trouble there in back play, Kieran.
Hopefully he's okay, as it's given now back to Matayawa.
That's a key playmaker out for East at a key stage in this game. Someone's going to have to step up into that playmaking role.
It will be tricky for Coach Tim Cornforth to make that decision if he is out. Hopefully it's just a little niggle and he can come back. That carry there from me, it wasn't me, Erasmus, so don't want to...
Kamhara is flying down this left touch line.
Here he goes in space for the first time today, and it's George Morso with the ball. He says, whatever you can do, I can do faster.
George Morso is probably the quickest bloke in Canberra.
Absolutely. And regathered there. We've got broken play.
Angelatos is up and running back into the play, which is nice to see as well.
Let it come. Let it go.
Not letting it go, says the referee.
The East players looking on the display trying to have a word with referee Hagan.
Yeah, not counter-rucking within the rules, he says.
Counter-ruck was good, feeling off by 6.
Now the Owls will try and, I'm sure, kick to the corner and try to extend that lead to a fourth try.
Absolutely, they've been so dominant when they've got position. Oh no, they've made a fool out of you, Bill.
It's an interesting decision, but it could well pay off.
We have to back ourselves up here, and they have got a unique view down there. So Tom Gilmore wants to give everyone a rest, and Sam Irwin kicking well from all sides of the park. He's missed a couple, but he's hit some really difficult long shots so far today, Bill.
Yeah, and I guess the thing about taking the 3 is it does extend it out past 3 converted tries as well, if he's able to convert it up to 22 points. So there's some sense in the decision from Gilmore. Just made me look a bit silly in the process, so I'm a little bit dirty on that.
You're going to the 80th celebration dinner tonight, Bill?
I am indeed. I'm very excited to run into lots of people I used to play with, people I played with 5 years ago, people I played with last year. It's just been a great club, and it's good to see everyone coming back to celebrate 80 years together.
You might be able to run into Tom Gilmore there tonight.
Yeah, I might have
a chat to him.
There might be a few choice words.
We make you look good, Tom. You make Bill look good, please. Yes, beautiful looking kick from Sam. That was never in doubt, and now they have a very, very healthy lead here at ANU North Oval.
Just a really fluid, smooth kicking action from Sam. He kicks the ball really well. It looks beautiful when it comes off the toe. And he's coming off for blood just for a second here, Sam Irwin, it looks like.
As we get back underway, I've got some scores for everyone watching from home on the other games. Royals versus Vikings. Vikings have a narrow half-time lead of 3 points, 10 points to 7. And in the other game, Queanbeyan versus Eagles at half-time. Queanbeyan, a narrow lead as well, just 12 points to 10. So very interesting scores there on both sides. You would have predicted both of them, but everyone's still in the mix. Not really the story here. Looks like it might be Uni-Norths game to lose here now.
As we see a little bit of push and shove there between Bode and the East number 7. Not sure what that was all about.
I love Max Bode's Roman numerals on his back too.
Well, of course, that's the Owls don't have a number 5. It was, of course, retired a number of years ago.
Ah, okay. You have a bit more on that?
I don't want to get the story wrong.
We'll direct you to Mr. Google. Oh, nearly a big clash there between two East players. And it was Kamara who was there to regather for the Owls.
Hold that mark there for me, mate.
Back towards the inside, as you said before, Angelatos has recovered and he's back in the lines now, very importantly for Easts. But now it's all about their defence.
Oh, that ball needed to go from Ben Love. They had numbers on the outside.
It would have been very interesting if you got it away, wouldn't it? As Ferreira takes it up now. We've said a couple of times, looks like they've just come off the ski fields, Ben Love and Phil Ferreira.
Phil Ferreira's dyed his hair recently, obviously, not a natural blonde like Ben Love. And it's made it very difficult for the commentators to try and to tell the difference between the two at points.
It was tricky early on. They must enjoy each other's company. A few of them looking like they're really embracing the heritage round.
And it looks great to see the boys out there in that old full green jersey. I walked in today and noticed both teams not wearing their traditional jerseys, but it looks phenomenal. Both sides really looking good in the kit.
Yeah, I would suggest that they might even want to consider adopting these for a few rounds a year. They do look fantastic, and as a commentator, my biased point of view is I can see the numbers really easily.
And that's what's important in the end, isn't it?
That's all it comes down to. It's not about the players. It's about us, Bill.
Indecision between the refs and the touchies here, but it looks like they've agreed that it will be a 5-metre line out to the Owls.
It was a penalty kick.
Yeah, I think the touch judge was confused as to whether it had gone dead or whether it had gone out.
Okay. So we got the 5-metre.
Interesting lift there, but it's play on.
Peretti, the try scorer from earlier, gives it back neatly. And they're going to a maul. No, they're going to just charge on through.
Tries to go through.
Let it go. Back on side.
Bosco at the back of the ruck.
No way through. There's a wall of white.
The crowd begging for someone to roll out of the way.
Ferreira flicked behind. It's short.
Second roll.
And you heard it from the referee. So the penalty will be played in East's favour, and they get a piggyback, get out of jail free card, whatever you want to call it.
No, it was fine. He got
It's
out.
heart in your mouth stuff for East players. It's a long way back from here, Bill.
It is, and I'm not sure how much longer we've got left in this half, but East will definitely be looking to at least try and track down a couple of bonus points here with a couple more tries and maybe getting a bit closer. So there's still a lot to play for East, and of course we've seen stranger things happen then and come back from here as well, so they're definitely not out of the game. They're taking their time to get to this line out though. You'd think they might be winning the game with the urgency at the moment.
Time's back on.
If we're looking at the back line, there seems to be a bit of indecision with the East players. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. As the ball finds Angelitos.
25 minutes to go, Bill, as we find a break here on the short side, except it's gone out, unfortunately.
That was a really nice cover tackle from Panache Kamhara. He's come all the way across there and managed to pull the winger into touch.
Mathanawe is the winger, and a little bit of how do you do between the players.
It's not basketball.
Now that's a one-liner. Referee Hagen making reference to the Boomers debacle in the Philippines earlier this week.
Super topical. Get him on the project.
Looks like Bosco Tagalolo's having a bit of a laugh with the back of the line out about it as well. He can't get the smile off his face.
Oh, that just diffuses the tension, doesn't it? That's his job. Referee Hagen doing a great job out there today, letting the game flow nicely, and it's handed to Ben Love. Ferreira, I should apologise.
They've tricked you again.
Again. Just short of the halfway line. Peretti.
It's good feet from Peretti. Really good feet there.
Picked it up again. He didn't go all the way down. He didn't have any downward pressure on top of him.
He went back to the well one too many times there, I think.
You stood up, picked up the ball.
Yeah.
You know, it worked really well the first time, placing the ball, getting back to his feet and playing. He thought he could have another crack at it. Referee Hagen said, not this time, mate.
I have a little bit of information for you, Bill.
Okay.
Lachlan Fryer said he missed Bill in threes. And he also said number 5 was retired in honour of Peter Branches Bradley, who played for the club. He's probably standing nearby, and Axel will give you the goss.
That's good. I was aware it was Branches, I just wasn't sure. I wanted to get the amount of games correct. I believe it was about 500. Something ridiculous like that.
Wow.
But again, I didn't want to get the story wrong.
What dedication for such an awesome club. Both these clubs 80 years old, of course, celebrating the 80th year of the John O'Dent Cup. And a beautiful kick there from Callan, finding the right side upright. Oh, really, really tough.
The flag's gone up. I thought Abel might have done enough to keep it in there. But
I think his boots were on the ground when he touched that one, Bill.
Oh, dear, unlucky. Well, no, I thought he did touch while he was in grounds, but I thought while the ball was in the air, he was able to launch himself from the ground and keep it in.
So close.
Touch judge disagreed, but...
Oh, and the Uni-Norths fans disagreeing as well.
Oh, he's missed the fact that Abel's touched the ball.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well,
yeah.
Wow, I would have just played on.
So they thought it was a opportunity for East. Here we go now.
We remarked on the striking red hair of the East number 4.
Yeah, we certainly have. Langi Longlotonga probably wins the best hair, despite some great haircuts out there. Mies Erasmus with a break. Let's see what speed he has. The front rower nearly built Gilmore, but he knew better than to try and outrun him.
11 roll.
He's going to hold on to him, asking for number 11 of ours to roll out of there, and it's sent back over the top, past Lola Tonga, and into the hands of Matayawa.
Stolen by Kamhara, though. Play on.
Unfortunately for East, that was building. This match needs something now from East.
And the counter-ruck's gone array again there for East. They've got to stay on their feet once they get past the ball.
And maybe a bit of fatigue in that, Bill, because it was working early on in the game.
Yeah, I think Rakanai did a really good job with the initial counter. He got over the ball, but he just couldn't hold his feet at the end there as Thompson takes a quick tap.
Yeah, he wanted it fast and he got it. So Gilmore with a terrible ball, but great work. It was forward in the end. Sam, I reckon, collected it without knocking it on.
Very impressive hands from Irwin out on the left touchline. Erasmus maybe sucking in some air after that big run.
Bill, you might have a chat to Irwin. You can team up on Gilmore together.
No comment on that one. I couldn't see from here whether it was forward. It looked flat.
Irwin not too happy about that. They're all sucking it in now on a freezing day here in Canberra. Top of 9 degrees was the forecast. Big round of applause now.
We've seen Mies Erasmus getting some attention on his hand, it looks like, down here. And, you know, he's been really impressive. Every time he gets the ball, he looks dangerous, and it'll be a big loss if he had to leave the field for East.
Yeah, it looks like he's okay, though. The round of applause before was for Roland Matayawa, who we've said a few times today has had a fantastic impact on this game. Roland came in off the bench for that game I talked about a couple of weeks ago and was devastating in the forward. So he's enjoyed his starting run today.
And he was very impressive whilst playing. As we see, who's number 19 has joined the field. I'm not quite sure who it is.
Just while we got a quick break here, Bill, let's have a look at the next few weeks for both these sides, and it will give you more of a insight into how much it matters. We have East's next week. They're going up against Queanbeyan, and that's the match of the round, in fact. So you get to see East in action again against the Whites. Then they have Gungahlin, which is arguably a slightly easier challenge than Queanbeyan, but then they have in the final round before the finals Tuggeranong, so a really difficult finish to the year for the East.
And I think we can say things like Gungahlin might be a bit of an easier challenge, but you know, every side in this competition this year has proven that they can beat any of the sides. I happened to watch last time Gungahlin played the Owls. That was another match of the round here, and you know, I was watching on the live stream, lucky enough to, and despite the fact they were down loads of men all the time, like throughout the whole game for yellow cards and even a couple of red cards, they still managed to pull within five points of the Owls, who of course are doing quite well this year as well. So you know, it's wide open, anything can happen in these games.
Yeah, absolutely. Owls run to the finals before we get back underway here is Royals, West, then Gungahlin themselves, so perhaps slightly easier, but I hear your point, Bill. It is wide open in this competition, and it's been wonderful to see so much competition tight throughout this season. As Angelados gives it to Callan, and he has more so, but he didn't go.
Yeah, you see Mies Erasmus parked up on this right-hand touchline. I'm not sure Sam Irwin wants to see Mies Erasmus running full pelt at him.
That's so true.
That's a good carry from Liam Bilson. He's gotten well over the advantage line, and some quick ball for Jacob Abel as well.
Need a little bit more work from these forwards here as Angelados gets crunched in the ribs. Samuello with a fly half-like ball out to his winger in Mathanawai.
It's a good covering tackle from Irwin, but again, East on the front foot here. They've got a chance.
Angelados again, and Bilston.
It's another good carry from Bilson. He's been impressive in this second half.
And Abel gets it away quickly, but Angelados spills the pill, and all of the momentum just drains out the back of their carriage, and East just can't crack this line. Owls have muscled up in this second half, Bill.
They really have, and you know, they scored 2 early tries, and it would have been easy to sort of fall into their shells, but their defence has been really, really impressive. They haven't allowed East to score this half. They're getting up quickly off the line. They're putting on shots, and they're really defending well.
Absolutely, and I wonder, mate, you missed playing today?
It's always nostalgic coming back to our Uni-North Oval. I had a lot of good years here at the Owls, but not looking at the contact in this game. Pretty happy to be up here with you instead, rather than be down there facing some of that contact.
I had a question earlier today. Did I play in earlier grades? And the answer is a big no. I reckon you might see me if I was to get involved with one of those pretty little flags in my hands, but I could not do what these boys are doing out there. They are tough as nails.
Yeah, I think these boys will be feeling it tomorrow. It's been a very tough physical game.
Gilmore off the left boot this time. Good on both. And Callan. That one gone out on the full, only a metre from where it left his boot.
And I think you may have been deceived again there. I think that might have been off the left boot of Jordan Thompson, who is a left footer.
There you go. They look very similar, those two from in front.
A few twins in this outside.
Yeah, nice. It was a beautiful looking left boot, which was very impressive if it was Gilmore.
Owls have moved to a 4-man line out.
Get 3, keep going.
With a couple of halfbacks, but the referee hasn't picked up on it.
I've got a ball, okay? By green, no, right?
Stolen by Lola Tunga. Samuel now. It's a big carry from the orbit, spilled.
Yeah, I've tried to get the offload, but it was a bit awry. Owls have possession. Crichton connecting with Ferreira. Gilmore. Nice quick ball over the top now for the winger in Richardson. Can he beat them? More so was his competitor, and there was no way he was going to beat him to the line.
East have done well to scramble and stop a try. That was a beautiful ball from Trent Storen.
And his love had an excellent season so far for Uni-Norths Owls.
He's come in over the ruck there, throw his hands in there. That could be cynical. We could be looking at a card here.
Very interesting. Very interesting for this final part. You wouldn't want to see that from East. They've had a really tough run of it in this second half. And Owls, as you said before, looking for bonus points, which will be very useful at the back end of this season. And for the second time today, we see Callum Richardson cross the line.
And it's great to see Callum Richardson find a home on the wing. I remember my early days in this club. He was a back rower.
Oh, wow.
He's been a back rower, and then last year he had a bit of a move into the centres, trickled to fullback, and then now's really found a home on the wing. He's been really, really impressive in 2018.
And with all respect, he looks like a winger.
He certainly does. He's got the flashy boots, the flashy haircut, and he's got the tries as well to match a winger, so he won't be complaining.
I'm not sure if you caught it, Bill, because you were late to the game, unfortunately, but the boot of Richardson was what produced the first try today. It was a kick and run.
Funnily enough, I did manage to catch it. I saw the fullback overrun it a little bit, and Richo just seemed to fall on the ball and celebrate very hard. So it's good to see. Good to see him score a couple, and I think we can safely say the Owls might have wrapped this one up.
Quick shout out to Brendan Walsh on Facebook. He's watching from Sandy Beach. G'day, Brendan. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone's enjoying the coverage today. We certainly are enjoying the rugby. It's been a special afternoon for the Owls. They have been clinical for the most part. A few handling errors here and there, and there was a passage of play at the end of the last half where they gave away a few too many penalties, but that seems to have cleared up as well.
Yeah, it does, and it's been a really clean game. You know, it's a good thing. There's been a few penalties, but it hasn't been. The referee hasn't had to intervene too much. We've seen plenty of flowing rugby, and it's been really good to watch.
Yeah, which is a full credit to the referee. There's a decision that they have to make, isn't it? And they like to see flowing rugby. We certainly like to see it when it doesn't get too wet, like today. So it was windy and threatening to rain, but it just stayed cold. Classic Canberra. Here we go, and Sam Irwin has kicked another one from the sideline. It seems like he likes them in front or next to the chalk.
That classic Irwin sway working its magic again.
It needs to be memed, Bill. I think you're the man.
It's been going on for too many years now.
Irwin sway.
The Owls have had trouble receiving these kickoffs today. The East have managed to find a spot. I don't think there's been a clean one this half.
Yeah, true. As Gilmore had to run around like he was playing a game of tips. Didn't want to get touched by anyone. He finds himself in possession once more. This is a wobbly old kick. Mies Erasmus is running back to it. No communication again, fellas. Unfortunately for the East boys.
I think that the referee, if he had his time over there, would probably give a penalty for offside there. Mies Erasmus clearly in front of the fullback who's knocked it on into him. But the referee's called it accidental. But the fact that Mies has caught the ball and played at it would seem to be, to me, that it's not accidental.
Yes, and Will Callan will be pretty disappointed with all of that because I think Mies was screaming at the ball. Unfortunately, Will and Mies weren't able to work that one out.
And we haven't had many scrums today. They've been pretty even, the ones we have had.
Yeah, they have for sure.
really interesting battle close on this side close to us between Lily Farr and Mies Erasmus. Obviously, Mies Brumby's contracted, but Farr's no slouch himself. He's a very impressive player.
And John Bosco Tagaloa, no slouch himself. He's a big boy.
Yeah, up on that tight head side, him going head-to-head with Liam Bilson. Of course, another big one. But as we said, the scrums have been really even, which is always nice to see, I think.
Absolutely. I think any day one team dominates the scrum is a day that you don't get to see a lot of running.
And we see a fan favourite, Steve Tico, warming up on the side. Looks like he's ready to come on. He's been a favourite of everyone down at ours for a number of years now. Plays harder than almost anyone.
Big smile on his face, looking forward to getting out there clearly as we round down the clock here with a couple of resets.
Very versatile, Steve. Can play in the second row or almost anywhere in the back row. So it'll be interesting to see where Coach Doc wants to place him on the field at this time.
We both slipped on that side. We'll just have it again. Hold that space, guys. Hold
So just under 10 minutes remaining, Bill, and looks like it might be a victory for this home side. And we'll be very interested to find out what happens at Gungahlin as well with Queanbeyan. And if they go down to Gungahlin, it means that ours jump all the way up to third spot.
Absolutely, and that'll be a great thing for this club. Obviously, haven't been in the first grade finals for a number of years. Ben Love makes a break off the back of the scrum.
No one saw him out there as a Houdini act, and he's just past the 22 with East players still coming back, so they haven't got a full complement in defence as Love finds himself in possession again. He's riding that adrenaline, but they haven't made any ground.
I think you've been fooled again. I think that might have been full for error with the carry again there, Kieran.
I wanted it to be Love. I wanted him to be backing it up. We could have just left it with him. Unfortunately, there for the winger for Owls, it's gone out.
Yeah, I think we missed. I think Panache Kamhara's left the field and Sam Irwin slotted into outside centre with a replacement winger. It could be Sterling Doyle. I'm unsure from here.
Tico's on, replacing Max Bode.
There you go. So we'll be into the row. Big Steve.
As Sammy Sam.
Bit of confusion in the line out there.
Captain.
You know, it was a big workhorse performance from Max Bode today. Didn't do all the flashy stuff, but he was hitting plenty of rucks and working hard in scrums and playing out of position in the second row as well.
Certainly loves that sort of work, doesn't he?
He does, and it's good. He's taken on from what I've heard, a big leadership role this year, named as the club captain for 2018, and from all accounts, he's doing a great job.
Just take a quick moment to thank our sponsors. The Griffin Legal John O'Dake Cup is brought to you by Griffin Legal. Of course, this season made possible with the live stream every week. Heading into the final series, really looking forward to what this great team at Bar TV can do. They've been producing wonderful live streams for you at home and an excellent archive of footage for the future as well. And thank you to Hans Superdry as well for sponsoring the match of the round as Crichton takes it out and Gilmore in hands once more for Storen, and the balls come forwards.
Don't think Erwin was expecting that one.
Momentary lapse of concentration. Flicked out the top there, a bit hopeful, and playing advantage was the referee off the knock-on from earlier.
You know, we've called it out for being a free-flowing game. We've had a lot of scrums since then.
We have more influence on the game than you might think, Bill.
Yeah, it's really...
It was your predecessor in the first half who forced Sam Irwin into his first kicking mistake. Poor Sam won't enjoy hearing that back.
Looks like James Douglas is warming up on the sideline for East, looking to come on. Spent a bit of time in New Zealand and Dunedin earlier this year, but he's come back to Canberra and he's looking to get stuck in with his East boys. He's been at the club for a lot of years now, so it's good to see him getting on to enjoy some of the success they've been having.
Absolutely. It has been a wonderful resurgent year for East.
And that's a scrum penalty to East. He's called it on Lely Farr for collapsing. Must have got a call from his touchy there. Not too often you see a referee call a collapsing penalty on a prop that's on the other side of the scrum to where he's standing. And then speaking of front row, looks like there's another front row change coming for the Owls as Zach Dushan is warming up on the sideline there for the Owls to come on at prop.
Fresh legs for this last 10 minutes. They deserve it out there. It's been like we said before the last few minutes or so. It's been a free-flowing game, so the forwards doing their hard work all the way across the park.
Looks like Big Bosco Tagaloa will be leaving the field. He's put in a big shift today.
It's a stunning oval, isn't it, Bill?
It is. It's a picturesque oval here, I would say. It looks, you've got nice views of the city. The grass is green. There's leaves, trees everywhere. It's beautiful.
Good line out there, but it wasn't taken. Knocked down and still in East's favour. They get numbers over the top of it. No scrum half is at home, though.
And it seems Samson Weller's left the field for East for James Douglas. He's on the sideline over there.
Great effort from Sam Samuelu.
Big Gus Limaleba with a big rate.
He's not had much impact with the ball himself today, but he has been great at the breakdown.
Oh, it's a big clean out there from East. He's fun Bilston.
Good work. Good work again from Bilston. Doesn't go down without a fight.
David Bennett wins a turnover with a strong jackal over the ball. As he's surrounded by his teammates, they like that one, the Owls players.
Did you say David Pocock? Is that?
Couldn't tell.
He's striking resemblance to David with that number 7 on his back, isn't he?
He is, and he plays well like him too.
Yeah.
It looks like another change. Hamish Dawson warming up on the sideline here. Likely to come on at scrum half would be my guess.
For Green, 9. Green, 9.
Dawson wearing my favourite number, Bill.
21.
Love it.
It's a big, good shift from Crichton. He's had a bit of an injury-interrupted season, unfortunately, but he's been very impressive today as well.
Yeah, 6 or 7 weeks out with a cheekbone injury. And it was a great performance today.
He'll be happy with his return to the field, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. He was fast out from the breakdown and even quicker out from scrums and took it himself a few times as well. But him and Gilmore are firing. They'll need to continue to as we head into the final part of the season if they're going to find themselves in the back end of the finals.
Oh, the ball spilled out of the maul there. Not a clean transfer, and it's hit the deck.
Unfortunately for the Owls, so the pace has been taken out of this game, hasn't it, Bill?
Yeah, there's been a few errors towards the last quarter of this game, but the Owls won't mind that. They've got a bonus point win locked up at the moment, so I think they'll probably be happy to just play a slow game at this point in time.
We do have some progress scores. After 55 minutes in the clash between Queanbeyan and Eagles, it remains 2 points the difference. Queanbeyan 19, Eagles 17. And at Phillip Oval, Royals and Vikings. Royals looking to hold on to the Bob Hitchcock Territory Shield, and they are 2 points ahead over Vikings in that clash. So really interesting games out at both parks today, particularly for the back end of the season. And Royals will take some confidence if they can get one up over the competition leaders today.
Yeah, of course, the defending premiers Royals really keen to try and back it up and get a double. But Vikings have looked the form side in the competition in 2018.
We're just going to reset that.
Looks like a few more subs warming up for the Owls. Coach Doc's looking like he's trying to empty the bench.
Give them all a run. You might as well. They've been sitting there in the cold for the best part of 75 minutes.
And that's Sam Ogilvie and Drew Powell warming up. A couple more front row changes likely to happen from the looks of it.
Bill, I have to ask you, as we head into the final moments, we don't get to select it, but who's your man of the match pick?
Fine.
So far, I would say Tom Gilmore's controlled the game really, really well with his kicking game. He's made a few breaks. He's put a few people through with balls, with really nice balls. Has been really impressive. And also Trent Storin at inside centre, maybe a dark horse candidate as well.
Yeah, good pick. I think he's been under praised today by us up here. He has found himself in the right position so many times.
Throwing a lot of nice passes to set up tries as well. He's really coming into his own.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really a second fly half position when Tom Gilmore takes it up as often as he does, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, the synergy of the Owls backline has been really impressive today. Everyone's played their role correctly and played it well. And I think Coach Doc will be really, really happy with it.
Well, I've been happy with it, Bill. It's been a great display of rugby this afternoon. The last few minutes or so have deflated, but I reckon this Owls outfit, after beating the Vikings just a few weeks ago, their position on the ladder will be justified when they head up into 4th or 3rd after this weekend.
Agreed. Storin takes a nice carry up the middle there.
I think it was Thompson. No, you're right, Storin. Sorry, mate.
That's all right. Steve Tigo with a big carry.
Will they look to go short side again?
Good jackal from East to win the penalty there, and I think that was the replacement halfback. Number 22's won a jackal penalty there. Good strong position over the ball, and he's been rewarded by referee Hagan.
Yeah, finally that breakdown pressure goes their way. But as we've called a few times, they've made errors in this second half.
And that's a nice nudge from George Morsu to find a bit of ground for East here. As we see Sam Ogilvie and Drew Powell coming onto the field. And have we seen who's leaving? Dan Perrette and Phil Ferreira. So no front row changes.
Dan Perrette with those big dreadlocks. We first get to see them as he takes his headgear off. What a display from him with a try to his name this afternoon. Phil Ferreira has been excellent as well. So pretty much the whole bench, did you say, Bill? It's been changed?
Looks like it. I mean, I don't have the sheet in front of me, but it certainly looks like there's been at least 6 or 7 changes the Owls have made.
Mies Erasmus tried to take that one there, rolled it backwards, and now playing fly half is Jacob Abel, and Rakanai with the one-handed carry once more.
Don't kick it out.
It's a good tackle from really far there.
Lolatonga.
Oh, it's a lovely
basketball.
offload.
Give me some hoop from Lolatonga.
That's a lovely offload from Lolatonga.
He's looked for it all day, and it hasn't come off as much as he would like it to, I'd say.
Have some big hands on him.
Oh, big out of the line again. These Owls defensive line, they're not giving up despite their dominance on the scoreboard. They are muscling up here. Speaking of muscling up, Sam Irwin, but it's come out for George Morsu. Let's see a foot race. Here he goes. He'll make it all the way. And East have got a consolation try to their name through one of their absolute stars here, Bill Yole.
George Morsu is pure lightning. That was an unbelievable show of pace to get on the outside of the winger and then to get through the tackle of Jordan Thompson.
Yeah,
and
strength
just finish.
too. For that. He took it on the shoulder but kept going.
You know, it almost happened in slow motion. You saw him get the ball about 60 out and you just thought he was going to score here, didn't you?
You didn't want to call it to put the Mickey on him, but he was well away, and he had a few players coming out as cover defence, but he's going to have to suck them in now, and with quite a difficult kick to convert his own try.
You know, that's why the Owls have been so worried all half, because East can strike just like that and score from anywhere with players like Morsu and Rakanay coming with their speed and just able to finish a try from almost anywhere on the pitch.
Gotta love a foot race, especially to lighten up the mood in the final moments of this match after some heavy forward play. It's been great to have your insight, Bill, into what goes on at the breakdown and the scrum. You found yourself in there a few times, I imagine.
Thank you, Kieran. It's been a pleasure to be here.
And this one just pushed to the right-hand side of the uprights by Morso, and with only a few minutes left on the clock, that will give them some confidence going into their clash with Queanbeyan Whites next week. The East boys, their depth has been tested this season.
And you know the East boys, despite the scoreline, they've been really impressive today. They haven't stopped all day. They've carried hard. They've defended well. The Owls have just been a bit too strong on this day, but you can see on another day East could easily have gotten over the top of a side like this. They're a strong side this year. They're not an easy challenge for anyone.
Yeah, in fact, their first victory of the year, their first victory in over 1,000 days, was against Uni-Norths in round 1.
Well, there you go.
So they are very capable of defeating any side in this competition. We know it, but unfortunately consistency is required if you're going to be there and be competitive at the end of the season. So the next few weeks will be telling for East as we head into the final 3 rounds. They will need to get some consistency if they're going to make their way back into the top 4, presuming they don't win today. They're going to need Uni-Norths to walk off the park, I think, if they're going to win.
Oh, some space for Erasmus.
Or we look to Erasmus to try and find his way over. He did score a half length of the field try last week. Beautiful ball back up to from Mathenai.
Back 8.
Abel.
Slide again.
And the referee's playing advantage again.
Callan over the top, but it's been intercepted. He won't get all the way, but as you said, offside was the call, and we were playing advantage against Uni-Norths. So great run there from Mies Erasmus.
And potentially a 4-try bonus point on offer here for East if they can get another one before the end. So it could be a really big finish for them in the context of their season. Oh, but Morsu's mistouch.
Oh, that is really devastating given the context that Bill Yole just painted. And this one will find its way almost all the way to the other side of the park. Rakanai now gives it off. Oh, he wanted to take it himself, didn't he?
It looked like he did, but he's found Abel, who's put some neat footwork on to make some good meters.
And crawl after you run for Abel.
Bolatonga.
Looks like he was at crazy hair day at school yesterday. Mies Erasmus now with heaps of space to work with. Try and tackle him in full flight. Oh, what a great tackle it was from Thompson down low.
Mies Erasmus must be close to leading this game in run meters.
I reckon.
And it's a great victory for the Owls on their 80th anniversary.
Certainly is. Both these sides have put on an epic display tonight, but something to celebrate tonight in the 80th celebrations at the big dinner, the big gala dinner for these Owls boys and girls who've had a great day out here at ANU North Oval. Bill, we said before our tips for men of the match. I would suggest that Jacob Abel, if they had have won, would have been up there. He directed nicely, but looking at the winning side, David Bennett must be close as well. The skipper, he's got a try to his name and had heaps of hard work, particularly in that first half. And Dan Peretti, as you said, I think he is up there as one of the key contenders.
It's a tough one. It was a really good team performance from the Owls. No one really seemed to stand out well above the pack. Really good team performance. So it's a tough one for the adjudicators on the Mammoth match.
Absolutely. Good luck to them, and good luck to Uni-Norths Owls as they enjoy the celebrations tonight. Enjoy it, Bill. It's been a big day, a big 80 years for Uni-Norths. It's seen lots of different incarnations, and thanks so much for your company today.
Thanks for having me, Kieran.
Thanks everyone at home as well. You've watched the Hahn Super Dry man of the match between Uni-North Owls and East Uni-Norths, taking home a very, very confident victory, and they'll take that confidence into the final 3 rounds of the season. My name's Kieran Deck. It's been a pleasure having your company. We'll catch you next week out at Queanbeyan's home ground.